Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to Iron on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron, and this is episode 248. Ain't I great? I'm not Jeff Jarrett, but sometimes I wish I was. He's a good man. I like Jeff. I mean, you could argue whether or not he was a credible heavyweight champion. I think he was a fine main eventer and one of the best workers in AEW today. He cut a hell of a promo for the Owen Hart tournament in AEW, and you know what? That wasn't the reason why I wanted to talk about a particular subject today, but now that I think about it, it will add to it. Today I want to talk about...
Pardon the interruption.
I want to talk about...
Interrupting?
People interrupting other people and why it's rude.
Yeah, it's
even
good.
If you say pardon.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
And my name is Aaron Bauer. That's double-A. R-double-O-double-N.
That's not how you spell it. Aaron?
I'm not sure what that spells.
All right.
If it was WWE, there'd be a Y in it.
We might go a little bit all over the place today. That's what we usually do. But I wanted to try to talk about like best, worked shoot promos, best promos that use reality to make a situation more emotional. Based on not only the Jeff Jarrett promo from last week that you could see unedited on YouTube, but the Uncle Howdy promo last week on Monday Night Raw. And we'll go through a little bit of that. We might also talk about the best Paul Heyman moments and promos, speaking of promos. And, of course, this is based on his incredible performance last week in Madison Square Garden. And we are going to talk about a variety of other things. Mostly... you can get the extra stuff that we're going to be talking about, which includes a Money in the Bank preview, our thoughts on Forbidden Door 2024, that rhymed, over on patreon.com/Iron Wrestling, where you get a buttload of bonus content starting at just $3. You'll get the extended audio from this episode. You might even get some bonus episodes this week. And there's a buttload of...
Did you just say the Young Bucks?
I did not say the Young Bucks, but we will
said
talk about them.
$3.
I said bucks, yes.
Okay.
I guess depending on how long you've had the $3 in your pocket, or the $5, or the $9, or the $25, or the $29 for any of our tiers in your pocket,
There's
it would
a
determine
$69.
how... There is a $69 tier. It would determine how young your bucks are before you hand those bucks over to us. For a good cause, of course.
Hey, and we don't care if your bucks are old.
We don't.
Yeah, if you have a $80 bill from 1957, we'll take it.
Is that a real thing?
A $69 bill.
I wish that was
You
a
should
real
see
thing.
the picture on it. It's President Clinton. Somehow Monica Lewinsky made it in there.
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Are there stains on this dollar bill?
I haven't ever gotten that much money where I would have one of those.
Okay. Well, anyways, you can support our podcast in the best way possible by going over to Patreon, but you could also support us just by subscribing for free on iTunes, Spotify, Audible, wherever you download podcasts. YouTube, you can subscribe there as well. You can leave a 5-star review on any of the podcasting platforms and leave a little comment about the show. It helps create visibility for the podcast. Leave some comments on our YouTube videos. Follow us on social media. Leave some comments. Over there, I'm dropping my microphone. Jesus.
Mic drop. Man, Greg, you're doing good.
Not on purpose. There's something wrong with my mic stand here. But, yeah.
That's what she said.
In what context?
I think she meant your penis. It doesn't work anymore.
That's not true. While I did...
Don't worry, it wasn't your girlfriend that told me.
I
It was this
temporarily
other
broke
chick.
it back in... what year was it at this point? 2017? It's good now. It's good to go.
Was it all the way back then?
I think it was that long ago, yeah.
Wow. And they still haven't reattached it?
It's there. It never,
No?
It never left my body.
Remember you were bleeding everywhere?
Yes, like... If
You came over to podcast and you got up from the chair and it was just a puddle of blood like your favorite band.
we were not...
Everything was blurry.
Yet. Okay. Really? Is that where we're going now? We're going to quote Puddle of Mud tracks?
No, it was a puddle of blood.
I see what you're doing, but that was
the puddle of mud, that might have been when you had diarrhea. Do you ever sing that song?
Which one?
It lives in the gutter and it looks like peanut butter. Diarrhea. Diarrhea.
Yeah, I used to sing it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Wow, what a throwback. Yeah. How are you? Anything interesting happening in your life outside of wrestling?
Good. I watched some pay-per-views this weekend.
That has everything to do with wrestling, but what about
outside of wrestling?
Yes.
Well, I had the Special Olympics, Ohio Summer Games.
Did you win?
Yes.
Which competition did you win in, Aaron?
Most interrupting partner.
Okay,
So I got the gold.
good.
So you're looking at the gold standard.
Okay, wow.
So thank you for your appreciation and support. I always like to thank the little people, you and Hornswoggle.
You are not any taller than me.
I am definitely an inch or a half an inch taller than you. I'm sorry. I'm an inch or an inch and a half bigger than you. I should say it that way.
Okay,
Okay.
whatever you
I think they know what I'm talking about, especially my OnlyFans subscribers.
All right, how many do you have now?
But don't worry about my business.
Okay.
It's my business.
All right, that's fine.
It's not the Iron On fans, only Iron On only fans. It's my own personal one. If you want to get in on it, though, they love dude on dude action.
All right.
And I mean, I figure we're already doing that without the cameras on.
Yeah. This is going
So
downhill real
before
quick.
we-
So,
Yes.
Special Olympics were
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. I'm the bocce coach, head coach. And we got the team I wasn't expecting to win a gold medal, won a gold medal.
Mhm.
And the other two teams won silver medals that I coached. So
Wow.
we're right there, man. I feel like the guiding light, like I'm Captain Lou.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
it was all good, man. Nobody left without a medal. 6 people went there. 6 people came home with medals.
Wow.
So, and then plus I got that award for most pardoning of interruptions.
Yes. Seems like they would have created that specifically for you.
Well, I don't like to brag, but they're thinking about calling it the Bauer Award.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bauer of Power. Too sweet to be sour.
Man, you should be in creative somewhere.
I should not.
Yeah,
Probably.
you're right.
Creative's been really good right now, especially in WWE. They seem to not need me, despite the fact that I've applied for a writer's job twice in the last year. I'm not going to talk about that. That's not the subject of the show today. Nothing really crazy going on in my personal life before we talk about the wrestling stuff. Did some stuff at home. Went to Home Depot this past
Real? What?
weekend.
What'd
Yeah.
you do there? You need a change for something, or
Got some paint.
and an energy drink or something?
Paint some stuff.
Oh.
And,
Paint.
yeah.
Finger paint?
No, paint
That'd be
ceiling.
difficult for you, wouldn't it?
Well, for 5 of my fingers, yes.
Mm.
I built a gym this weekend.
An imaginary friend named Jim.
No, built a workout facility this weekend.
You built
in
one.
my basement. Yep.
You already had one down there, though. What do you mean?
Oh, I built a gym within my gym.
You leveled up?
I
Wait, is this you put another poster of an underage girl, Alyssa Milano? I don't care if it was 1986.
That's in the bonus episode over on Patreon, which we're not going to talk about that here. Yeah, I took a old WWF backstage area, and I put a parking lot behind it, and I got some
What?
action figures.
Oh,
some
toys?
toy,
Is this what you're
toy
talking-
weights, and I put the gym in my gym.
Do you have a picture?
I did post pictures over on Patreon, but I'll show you.
Yeah, I don't have
some
Patreon.
pictures here, and I'll see what you think. My girlfriend, when I showed her, she just shook her head up and down and seemed. The only way I could describe her face was disappointed.
Yeah, like I thought I was with a man, but apparently he's still just a boy.
Describe what you see here happening.
All right, Brody Lee,
Uh-huh.
NWO Wolfpack Lex Luger.
Yep. He's in the back with the dumbbell there, curling.
Brian Knobs.
Yep, he's sitting in a chair with
He
a
has
bandana
to
on.
sit because of that butthole of his.
Yep.
NWO Kurt Hennig? No, wait, that's an Ico Pro.
He's got an Ico Pro shirt
Oh,
on.
is that Kurt Hennig, though? Is
Yeah,
that
it is.
Mr. Perfect?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Boy, there's a woman there. I'm going to say it's going to be wrong, but it's maybe Stephanie McMahon.
It is Stephanie McMahon.
Ah, okay.
Yes. She's
Yeah.
she's curling a weight over there.
Uh-huh. And then somebody's bench pressing. Vince McMahon? Is that who that
McMahon
is?
bench
And
pressing.
Hulk Hogan spotting him.
He's spotting him.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is great.
my
But
jam.
Hogan's 10 inches are right over Vince's face. That was always my least favorite thing about going to the gym.
Yeah.
There's always some guy who wanted me to, hey, spot me, brother. And then, like, well, you want my balls over your face? All right, they're sweaty.
I feel like that doesn't happen a lot anymore, but I also go to Planet Fitness, so most people don't even know how to work out.
They don't
there.
work out there? Yeah.
Then, of course, so on the back of the backstage area, there's a bathroom.
Oh.
So as you can
And
see
somebody's sitting on the toilet. It's maybe Jerry Lawler's son?
there. That's not.
Oh, that's Freddy Krueger.
Jesus Christ. It's very insulting to.
Why
Brian
does Freddy
Christopher.
Krueger not have a shirt on?
Well,
Is that Freddy Krueger's face?
Yeah,
Okay.
I took off the shirt.
For what?
That's what. Just because I like Freddy Krueger, so I put him
Shirtless?
in the bathroom. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Well,
asking.
because I took off the sweater, and like when I took off the sweater, I was surprised to see that
Those aren't his pants.
So
those are Scotty Too
well,
Hotty's
no,
pants.
those are custom made little Zubaz pants from Mike over on the Patreon. He sent them to me. But Josh Excellence comments when he sees this picture of Freddy Krueger, and he said, what figure's body did you put on Freddy Krueger? Why is he so jacked? I said, that's literally what he looks like when you take his sweater off. And he's like, what? Why? And I was like, exactly. So that's why he's in the gym on
Is
the
he
toilet.
still alive, the actor that played him?
Yes.
Okay, so if you run into him at some point, will
I'll
you
show him.
ask him to take his shirt off?
Yeah.
to compare?
Can I see what you look
Some
like?
people say that these characters aren't true to life.
Yeah.
but
So there's some lockers.
The Marshmallow Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yeah, with a weight. Because
Yeah.
there was one of them with a weight in the.
Yeah, but it's not really a
Ghostbusters.
weight. It's like 2 marshmallows
Yeah. But you
and
know,
a Q-tip or something.
yeah.
Did you make that?
No. It's,
Oh, but you put all this together?
yes.
So really what you did was you just played with your toys.
As you could see in the
And,
actual
and then
backstage
you sold
area.
it to your girlfriend like, I've been working so hard on my
Yeah.
gym area. You'll be so proud. And she was like, oh, okay. Is that Carlito over there? What is that?
One of the first questions Eric asked on the Patreon when I posted these, he said,
Eric.
did your girlfriend break up with you? Are you lonely? And I said, nope, she's still with me for the time being.
Yeah.
As you can see, I have The Rock on the treadmill over there. John Cena's having a conversation with him. If you notice, right behind John Cena, who's lurking, he wants to try to chime into the conversation,
Looks
but
like another John.
doesn't know what to say.
It looks
John Gargano.
Yeah, with fake ass Adidas pants on. He's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
got the 2 stripes like
Yeah,
The Rock.
yeah.
Wait, are those The Rock's workout pants on Johnny Gargano?
I don't know where they came from, but I
Uh-huh.
just put them on him because I didn't want him to walk
Johnny
around
would
in
never
tights.
walk around. Oh, come on. That's
Well,
Johnny's
not in the
thing.
gym. I mean,
Oh.
come on. And then I got Eddie Guerrero with a towel around his neck, in the backstage area
That's
there.
not Eddie.
It is Eddie.
It looks more like Chavo.
Yeah, it's Eddie. It's Latino heat.
I think somebody ripped you off.
You can't see it, but there's like a pop machine in there and TV. It's real nice for my action figures. Their gym is admittedly better than my gym. It's and only
Stephanie's
the best for
in
my toys.
theirs.
I actually,
Stephanie and Vince.
you're making jokes, but how pathetic this is. But I know something that maybe you don't know.
Uh-huh.
I was watching a documentary from 1995, and in this, apparently, when you leave the room that your toys are in, they actually come to life.
Oh, yeah.
And they have conversations with each other. They go on adventures. And I watched a follow-up to that documentary from, I believe, 2009. And towards the end of it, the toys came to terms with their impending death.
Yeah,
And
we talked about this
It
last week.
it
It was Toy Story. It's a cartoon. Disney.
I'm sorry, that's not a It's based on a true story, though, right?
Could be. Well, here, let's get dark for a minute. When I used to be locked in the attic,
Oh, no.
I had
What did I do?
4 stuffed animals that I swore would come to life and save me if shit popped off real bad.
Oh, boy.
And in my brain, I would get them to talk to me because I saw no other humans for months on end.
Oh, God. This
So
is sad.
yeah, so I would get them to talk to me.
What
And
stuffed
now I
animals are
realize
these?
there were bears. One was Coco the bear,
Coco the bear, okay.
and
Hannah has a Coco the bear at the library that I like very much, actually, coincidentally. Coco, yeah.
there's a I don't. His name was Mr. Something. And
Some friends can't even remember their fucking name. No wonder.
yeah. Well, I figured out once I became sane that those things weren't real.
Wait, what are you saying?
Oh, and I had Alf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a nice Alf doll.
Yeah. And he was always calling me Willie.
Why?
Hey, Willie.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then they would watch. Okay, so I was there was a small television, the 10-inch TV in my room, and I would record episodes of The Cosby Show and Family Ties on Thursdays because I knew that the house was empty for a while.
Okay.
So I could turn the TV on without getting in trouble in that room. And then I brought my tape recorder over and I would record those episodes. And me and these fucking stuffed animals had the best time.
Wow.
You just got to make do with what you're given in life.
Yeah, and you know what? It's great that you were recording from at least one program with such a good father figure, a television father figure that I can't imagine could do anything wrong at any point.
Yeah.
Just really someone that you could look up to, would never like add anything to your drink.
The man was a doctor on TV.
Yes.
His wife was a lawyer.
At one point, he became a detective. Do you remember, like, Uncle Bobby just sent this to me over on Patreon, 1994. I don't know how long it was on, but I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Cosby Mysteries was a thing.
Yeah, I never watched it.
It's the most dramatic-sounding commercial you'll ever hear. Hold on a second. Okay, here it is. Check this out. This is 1994 NBC's The Cosby Mysteries commercial.
This fall, Bill Cosby returns to television with something new. Mystery. All of our suspects are dying. TV's most popular star back as its newest crime solver with his own unique style. You gonna be in there long? With Emmy
Just
winner
looked
Speedy
over
Ray
at a
Ray
guy in the
Ray.
bathroom stall.
The Cosby Mysteries, Wednesdays this fall on NBC.
But then, like, when Bobby sent that to me, I was like, that was like every NBC commercial in 1994 ever, right? Like, they made everything super dramatic like that.
And I find that, like, I'm picturing Ric Flair is the guy that's in the bathroom stall. And Bill Cosby's the manager of the pizza joint.
No.
And
God.
he's like, are you going to be in there long? And Ric Flair's like, this is the most disrespectful thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Yeah, no other moment could be more disrespectful than
I
this
will
moment
give
in
you a
time.
$10,000 tip
Yeah.
if you cuss out the manager.
You think Ric Flair ever thinks about how disrespectful it has in the last 5 years, where he's like sent like girls in their 20s unsolicited dick pics? You ever think about how?
Do you think that's happened? Have you
Do
heard?
I think, or do I know that?
Yeah, let me hear that. Do you know?
Do
you have it from a good source?
I have it from a couple credible sources.
I like
and
that.
also, I saw a picture of it.
Yeah?
Yes.
Was it sent to you?
No.
One of your friends?
I'm not going to.
You don't have to say anything you're uncomfortable with.
I'm
Tell me.
not going to
Let it out, Greg.
let out names or locations, but I will say in the last 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
someone credible showed me a picture of what they were told from a girl was an unsolicited dick pic from Ric Flair, because she met him at like some gathering or something, and immediately got her number and then just sent her a dick pic. And then there was another guy in the room who came over, and he was like, let me see that. And he looked at it and he goes, yep, that's Ric Flair's dick, because I know this girl who Rick sent it to. And like, I mean, because it's like crazy.
Now, does it
like,
look like a baby's arm holding an apple?
It's unlike any penis I've ever seen.
Really? And you've seen a lot.
That's not true.
A whole lot.
But it was very, for lack of a better term, girthy and weird looking, particularly the top end of the dong. So we'll just leave it at
mushroom
that.
head?
I don't. Yes. We shouldn't be talking about this, but that's a little insight, and we talk about more stuff like that and get more in depth over on Patreon. And especially in our Zoom chats, which we'll probably be doing this week, which, is for $9 and up subscribers only. And you might want to get in on that action. Patreon.com/IronOnWrestling. But what do you say?
I'm hungry for a pizza all of a sudden. Order me extra mushrooms. And salami.
Oh, God, dude.
You ever have salami on a pizza?
I have. Actually,
Yeah,
I did
very
in Germany.
good.
I did in Germany, yeah. It was, and you know what? The pizza was extra good because you're so close to Italy at that point. The ingredients, super fresh, good stuff. Yeah, but now that I'm remembering that you're only mentioning salami because of Ric Flair's penis, my stomach is churning.
And you just kissed.
And
Oh, Ric Flair's wiener.
I just give
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Oh, me like Ric Flair.
I'm not. I don't talk like that. And you know what? You fucking baby talking leprechaun piece of shit. We're gonna go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about anything else other than Ric Flair's dong. Hey, we just ate a lot of protein here for dinner.
Yeah, we did.
Which was great. Great amount of protein that could fuel a great workout. But you know what helps me fuel my workouts even better?
I would guess as the products that you receive from TNT Health and our good friend Mike.
Yes.
DeMarco.
Well, I'm sorry. DeMarto?
DeMario.
Okay. We'll go with that. I mean, Mike DeMario and his partner Luigi at TNT Health.
He's DeMario. The other one's the Luigi.
They sell us. They send us a variety of supplements that enhance our health and well-being, and they stay with us each and every step of the way, which they could do for you as well. You should check out TNT-health.com because that's where I get my pre-workout, I get my glutamine for my post-workout, I get my creatine to help me fuel my workouts and helps, enhance my workout. Of course, the glutamine helps with my muscle recovery. I get my protein from TNT Health, which of course is the only stuff that I've ever used that I can mix with water, and it doesn't taste grainy or disgusting. And Aaron, of course, you've lost over 50 pounds from some of the stuff that you used at TNT Health.
Yeah,
I mean, put on some pounds of muscle.
Yeah, I put on some pounds of fat a few weeks ago too.
Oh,
and then just for 1 week now, I've been on the ACE 262, and I've converted that fat into raw muscle. You son of a bitch!
God,
look at that.
stop
That's
posing
16
like
inches.
that. You're gonna give this
That's
dog a
16
bone.
inches.
Wow, that's bigger than Hogan.
Not my dong.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Biceps.
That's still 4 though.
But you know what? It's absolutely free to look at TNT-health.com. Costs you nothing, but they're not trying to sell you supplements. They're trying to sell you results. And Mike and the good folks at TNT Health only want you to get roughly 70 to 80% of your results because no one's perfect. You're going to screw up. You're going to want to have a cheat meal every now and then, and that's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. And Mike is going to talk you through things. He's going to help you with what you're using, why you're using it, and what it's going to do for you. And then if you like the couple things that you're using, perhaps maybe you'll come back to TNT Health and you'll get a couple other things.
There's no question. You're going to like it. I cannot believe the results and how quickly that they happen. But you just got to work the program right. Do what Mike tells you to do, and your shit will be straight. When I didn't do what he told me to do, and I wasn't giving 70%, 80%, any percent, then I was shit. And now I'm not. Now I'm the shit.
The lowest he will accept is 69%. But after that, it becomes a problem. So you don't want any problems with Mike. What you want is to stop your problems and go to TNT-health.com. Check out all the great supplements. Buy some supplements and use our promo code IRONON. That's IRONON. IRONON. It'll save you 10% on everything you buy. So what are you waiting for at TNT-health.com? It's about your health today, not tomorrow. All right, give me a realistic design that you want to get made by our good buddy Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Design. Something that, like, you know, is suitable to pitch to a man who's been doing this for 20 years and has a variety of T-shirt designs and Hot Topic, and literally has made a design for every important and major world champion in wrestling right now.
All right. Well, if I may, I've been thinking about this while I was at the Special Olympics event down in Columbus.
Okay.
I thought of the special athletes that participate in those events.
Okay.
And I thought, wouldn't they love to see a brand new Iron On Wrestling t-shirt with you and me on clouds making out with Tom Selleck and Ben Vereen
That has nothing to do with the Special Olympics.
on a couch?
On a couch, on a cloud?
Yeah. With a weight in her hand.
What? A shake weight?
Yeah. You ever had one of those?
I have not.
I did.
How'd it go?
Real weird, man. Real weird. I can see how someone might think they're doing something, but no. So that's what I got. And maybe eating a strawberry.
Okay.
I'd be feeding you a strawberry from cloud to cloud, but you and Ben Vereen would be singing a love song to each other, and me and the other guy that I said earlier, Don Johnson.
I guess as
Tom
long
Selleck.
as you gave Juan money, he would create that design. But luckily for you and all the good folks out there, his designs are very affordable. Yes, he's made designs for people that sell shirts in Hot Topic, and you name any big-time wrestler in the last 40 years of wrestling, and Juan has made a design for them. He can make a design for you as well, not just for merchandise, but logos for a company or a small business. He can make a custom design for someone on their birthday or their anniversary, anything that you would like. And if you mention this podcast, Iron on Wrestling, you're going to save $20 on your first design. That's right.
How many young bucks?
Well, he's made designs for them, but $20 off your first design. So, do yourself a favor. Find Juan Ortiz online on Instagram at Of The Dead Designs. Give him a follow, but also send him a message there, or you can send him a message on Facebook.com/OfTheDeadDesigns, or go to his website, ofthedead.weebly.com, because Juan Ortiz, our good buddy, and Of The Dead Designs, they're bringing artwork to life.
Oh, suck a ducky, quack, quack.
I'm sorry, was that supposed to be a Booker T impression?
Yeah.
You think he says, suck a ducky, quack, quack.
I'm pretty sure that's what he says. Why? What do you think he says?
Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you that's not what he says.
What's he say? Tell me now or forever hold your penis.
Paul Heyman.
Yes. Speaking of penis holders.
He was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Long before his Hall of Fame induction, he had solidified himself as one of the greatest of all time. And somehow, you said it before we started recording today, post being inducted in the Hall of Fame, this man is somehow doing his best work ever.
That's true.
This past week on SmackDown at Madison Square Garden, Paul Heyman was in the ring with the new Bloodline, and he was given an option. Well, actually, he wasn't given many options. He was just told to acknowledge his tribal chief. The tribal chief being Solo Sikoa. And Paul Heyman chose not to do that.
Why?
Very dramatically told him that you are not my tribal chief. He loved him, but he's not his tribal chief. And he proceeded to get a beatdown by the Tongans and Jacob Fatu. Jacob gave him a flying headbutt, and they gave him the Shield Powerbomb through the table, which looked sketchy. Incredible acting by Paul Heyman, and
His character work is up there with anybody's I've ever seen in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, maybe even television right now.
he's 100% one of the best to ever do it, and I like how he doesn't call himself a manager. He's an advocate because he in his opinion, Bobby Heenan is the greatest manager of all time, and so if he wants to be the best at something, you can't be better than Bobby Heenan. So that's
Can
why he
I-
calls himself an advocate.
Can I reveal something to you?
Please.
Here, look down. No, not that.
Okay.
This morning,
Mhm.
I was in deep thought,
Okay.
and I came to the conclusion that I think Paul Heyman, in my opinion, has eclipsed Bobby Heenan
Whoa, really?
as the greatest of all time. As the greatest, and I don't know if whether you want to call it a second, an advocate, a manager, a valet, a cheerleader, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I think Paulie's number one.
Why?
Just everything he's been doing. Like, Bobby Heenan was great because he could just be the clown and off the cuff, and then he would get serious at times. But
Sure.
Whatever Heyman's doing right now, I haven't seen television like this.
Yeah, it is next level, and it's all about the little things that Paul does in these moments. So what I read online, the rumor going around is that Paul stayed up for a whole day to give that look that he had under his eyes, the redness, the bags, and you.
Did
could
you
tell-
stay up a whole day to record this podcast?
No,
Oh, why do you look like shit?
that's just my face.
Yeah.
He's
very handsome. I'm kidding, people.
He didn't shave for
Yeah.
a couple days, so he had a little bit of scruff. You could tell
Ugh.
that dye is going away from his hair again, like he did a few months ago when, Roman Reigns was nowhere to be found. And method acting, man, it's next level stuff. Actually, in wanting to talk about Paul Heyman, some of his better moments, I found an article from ESPN from about 8 years ago on Paul Heyman, and they asked him about the art of the promo. And here's what he told ESPN.com. I'd say that I'm probably possessed by that character at times and need an exorcist to pull me, the dad at home, back out of him. And I'd say at times that I possess him. There's a balance. There's no tug of war for my soul. My soul is condemned as it is, but we have a relationship and we kind of learn how to coexist. When talking about the artistry created in the measured tone in his speech, he says credibility, authenticity, believing in everything that you are saying. It's something that people are born with and don't know how to tap into. And it's something some people are not born with, but once they feel the affirmation of the crowd, they get that rush. It's sex, it's music, and there's a rhythm to it. There's an interaction to it. There's something very deeply personal about it as well. Once you tap into that, you're hooked. And you seek that every time you dare open your mouth in a public forum. That's the art of the promo.
Yeah.
And it's very well said. When you think back to Paul Heyman, what's the first time you remember seeing Paul Heyman? I would imagine it had to be in WCW, right?
Yes. No. It was in the PWI magazine.
Okay.
His name was Paul E. Dangerously, and I thought, man, you could pick any name, but you went with this character that was part of a movie. I think Johnny Dangerously was the movie.
Yes.
Maybe Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, bro.
I've never seen the movie,
Yeah.
but I hated it because Paul E. was Paulie Dangerously,
Okay.
and I hated Paul E. because he was Paulie Dangerously.
Sure.
And in these pictures, he had this giant phone. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? You can't even make a call.
Mm.
What, he's got a broken phone? This is dumb.
Yeah.
And then I watched him as the host of NWA Power Hour.
Okay.
I believe that was the show. And I started to get it.
Yeah.
And then I saw him assemble the Dangerous Alliance. Oh, first I saw him. He was managing the Samoan SWAT team
Yes.
in the NWA.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then he went on to host that show later on. And then, ECW.
I was just listening to a little bit from Cornette's podcast, and there was apparently a rumor in the sheets back around 91, and Cornette couldn't remember it, but there was a rumor going around that they wanted Cornette to potentially manage what would have ended up becoming the Dangerous Alliance, which I found very interesting. What a weird timeline that would have been if Paul Heyman didn't come back to do that. Because the Dangerous Alliance is pretty iconic, and we've talked about it in spurts on the show before. It's probably one of the most underrated superstar stables of all time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? I mean, you can't disagree with
Oh,
that.
no. I mean, you had a legend in Larry Zbyszko.
Yep.
Even though he wasn't at the peak of his career. Actually, he was probably better when he got out of the Dangerous Alliance because he had a couple runs as the world television champion.
Yes.
And he was great in his feud with Scott Hall. You had the up-and-comer in Stunning Steve Austin.
Yep.
And he's somebody that my dad saw before I saw him. And my dad didn't even watch wrestling, really, but just flipping through the channels, probably initially attracted to Lady Bosom. What was her name?
Lady Blossom.
Lady Blossom, yeah. And then he was like, you got to see this guy, this Steve Austin. He's got it. He's got everything. He's got the long blonde hair, the look. He's got abs. He looks like he never gets tired in the ring.
Yeah.
And I loved Steve Austin then. And then you had Medusa.
Yes.
Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even need to say things about those. But those two were very pivotal in the Monday Night Wars. They both had major parts in the Monday Night Wars where they defected from the WWF to WCW.
And
back to WCW.
You know, War Games has gained a little bit more popularity in recent years because they brought it back to WWE. But even going back to the original War Games, you know, one could argue that the best War Games match of all time is 92 with the Dangerous Lions versus Sting Squadron.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Because Sting Squadron had Ricky Steamboat on that team, right?
Yes.
And
Sting, obviously.
And Sting, Brian Pillman,
Uh-huh.
Barry Windham, maybe?
I believe so.
And Dustin Rhodes?
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
But I think the first time I saw Paul Heyman is when they would have showed up for that invasion of Monday Night Raw in '97. That makes sense. to me.
Okay.
Like
Gosh, I always forget you're so much younger than me.
Yeah. So like I think
You probably didn't even like wrestling.
keep in mind that sometimes because I didn't have cable, I kept up with what was going on in the WWF and in WCW through the weekend shows and through the magazine. And the magazine was always 3 months behind.
Yeah.
So that kind of fucking sucked. But kids at school would inform me on everything. And occasionally I'd pay kids $5 to not snip my mustache, but to tape some wrestling for me. I'd give them a blank tape and I'd pay them $5. And
It wouldn't have been $5 you gave them. It would have been $5.
$5, you know. Yeah, when they invaded Monday Night Raw, and then
Is that Sabu falling off the R?
Yeah, Sabu falling off the R, and I didn't see Mind Games, so but Paul Heyman wasn't involved in Mind Games a few months earlier. But yeah, so I think '97 would have been the first time, and then when I started watching ECW more religiously in '98, and reading more Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I grew to know that he was the figurehead of ECW. It's funny because I didn't watch the early '90s WCW. I had no knowledge of him during that time frame, but man, just the which I'm glad he did it for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Just the image of like Paul in the trench coat and with the hat on and with the headset on, like that's Paul Heyman to me. Like that's what I grew up on, and obviously when he came over to the WWF, I have really fond memories of him and JR as a announce team. Even though they only lasted 8 months
on that show.
I think it was one of the best duos in the history of the WWF. Obviously, they did stuff for WCW and NWA back in the day, but I really think that his run with JR is very, very underrated because, and I think JR has talked about it on his podcast. Paul would say stuff to purposely piss off Jim because it always felt like they really didn't like each other, but Paul just knows how to push buttons. That's just the way he is.
And that gets the best out of people a lot of times.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes to...
I know from experience, dude.
Yeah. When it comes to ECW, what do you think it was about Paul Heyman for you that made ECW so special? we know the obvious, like it was so unique and different. But like, what do you think Paul Heyman did for ECW that someone
I
like,
didn't get it at first
Yeah.
because he was the manager of 911 and Sabu on the first tape that I got of ECW, and I was reading the sheets, so I knew he was the booker, but I was like, why is the manager of a guy that just choke slams people and leaves?
Yeah.
Why does that guy call all the shots here? I don't get this.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, this is kind of a peel back the curtain type of promotion.
Sure.
What? So then I remember him reintroducing Sabu as a surprise. I'm sure it's been shown a billion times on any ECW thing where he reintroduces Sabu and Sabu points up, and then Paul goes for a handshake, and Sabu never gives Paul a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's some weird tension there. And then I found out, like, Sabu was pissed because Paul Lee went and buried him because he took a booking with his full-time job,
Yeah. Yeah.
a job that paid way more money. But I didn't know any of that. I was like, how could he do this to the fans of Philadelphia?
Sure. Well,
And I think I even pitched to John McChesney one time because John McChesney had, like, a real booking that was going to pay him a lot of money.
yeah.
He was supposed to work the Deviant.
Okay.
And he kept telling me, this match is going to get me good publicity because...
The Deviant, by the way, is Michael Hutter.
Oh, yeah, EC3. So he goes, I get a chance to work this guy. He's green as hell, but I can put this guy on my tape to send to WWF
Yeah.
or WWE.
Mhm.
And people will look at it because they're going to look at him immediately.
Sure.
And I was like, how could you do this to those fans in Elyria, Ohio? You've been feuding with Arrow for all this time, and you're not going to take this booking? And John's like, well, I don't know how you expect that. And I was like, no, I just can't believe you would let so many people down. You know what John McChesney did?
What's that?
He took the booking in Mega.
What the hell? Well, that's
And that
good.
started the decline of his career.
That's good that he withheld his commitment and faced the 5'10", 100-pound soaking wet masked wrestler Arrow.
Yeah.
And
Well, it was a blow-off to their feud.
oh, sure.
They ended up using snowballs in the match. They went outside.
Well, there's no need for sexual gratification between the two individuals. So we just
you
want to see
ever
wrestling.
get into that?
Yeah. Well, no, I can't say that I have.
Oh, me neither.
Okay.
This sounds gross to me.
Yeah.
I'm open to some things. That's not one of them, though.
Okay. Yeah. Neither.
I mean, unless the right person comes along. If you're out there, let me know.
Okay. What's her name?
Whatever.
What's his name?
Whatever.
Okay. For me, I really enjoyed the end of ECW on TNN when Paul Heyman was like, just losing his mind and doing those, throw me off the effing air promos. Because again, that's for me when I start to get smart because I'm like, 13 at the time or whatever. Like this is like really peeling back the curtain and
You're like, hold on, I'm 13. I wonder how old Alyssa Milano is now.
Okay, well, I knew how old she was at that point, and I will always have a crush on Alyssa Milano. She's a very attractive woman, adult woman. She's an adult woman.
Yeah, but when you were attracted to her, she was 12.
But I was like 2. The first time I ever saw her was on Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
And in Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I bet she went commando.
Shut up. And so I was
You
like
probably did.
like a fucking 8-year-old boy. I'm allowed to have a crush on Alyssa Milano.
Yep. What other 8-year-old boys did you have a crush on?
I myself was an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah, right. Nobody's going to believe that. Like you were ever 8.
I think, and we've talked about it, I think, briefly on the show before. Maybe it was just in a bonus podcast, but one of my favorite promos from Paul Heyman was maybe, arguably, one of the only true highlights of the invasion when he cut that promo on Vince for the Go Home show on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Where, basically, I guess the story behind the scenes was, Vince just said, don't tell me what you're going to say. Just come out there and say it. And it was one of the most incredible promos of all time where he basically talked about, Vince Sr. and how Vince fucking put all the territories out of business, and how he stole the concept of ECW from Paul Heyman and took his Extreme and called it Attitude. Man, it was so fucking good. And then, the clincher in the promo is you got Taz at the announce desk, and he's just like, you took a man who was a suplex machine and you turned him into a fat little announcer or whatever he called him. And then Taz stands up, and then which again, not to shit on AEW, we could do that in the extended version of the podcast, but that could have been a moment a couple months ago when Jericho was kicking the shit out of Taz's kid and hit him with a baseball bat in the face when the crowd came up for Taz standing up, because it's Taz. When Taz stood up, the crowd went crazy, and he came in the ring and he choked out Paul Heyman.
He did that to Jericho too, right? Oh, no, wait, he didn't.
No,
he just sat there
no.
like a bitch.
Yeah, he just sat there, and that was not good. But, that's one of my favorite Paul E promos. What's one of your favorite Paul E promos?
You know what's one that always stood out to me, and probably because I heard it a bazillion times, was for a commercial for a Sabu T-shirt.
Okay.
And he stood there, it was like dark, and he said, "He is the most suicidal, homicidal,
Oh, yeah.
genocidal, death-defying, some shit.
Yeah,
some
I know
shit.
exactly what you're talking about.
And his name is Sabu."
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, he knows how to say everything.
I
have goosebumps right now. I wish people could see these ones.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, ECW, if you've never watched it when it was on, it was more of a clip show than anything else.
Yeah.
Like the commercials for the tapes stick out more to me than the actual show itself.
I recorded all the commercials. I was there to record. I could have paused during those commercials.
Yeah.
I still recorded all of them. It was the night Kimono Wanalea danced atop the ECW arena.
I just watched that recently, actually.
Her dancing up there or the commercial?
Her dancing.
Yeah. How great was that?
So here's the thing. I, despite having access to the internet for a couple decades now,
Yeah.
I had never actually watched it.
Yeah.
And I came across it on Twitter because it might have been the anniversary of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. But I watched it and I was like, geez, this went on for way too long.
They were fixing the ring, man.
Yeah, and it was...
But it was like then a second song came on and you're like, all right, we know by now you're not taking anything else off.
Yeah, it was
But
like...
who told us that, maybe it was Raven, when we were at PWO, told us that all the guys put a hole through the walls there so they could watch her atop at the Eagle's Nest there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they all. If you look at it, you can see there's all these little holes that were put through the wall. Somebody grabbed a drilled holes through, like in Porky's, some 1980s movie, and they were all watching because they didn't know how far she would go. Paulie said, "Just do whatever you feel like doing." And she was a professional stripper. Her family, very nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they when I went to November to Remember, they were there to sell her merch.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so all wonderful people, and her dancing was. If you watch the clip show, you thought you were going to get something.
Yeah.
They got my buddy Tiger Rudo because he spent the $28 or whatever on that VHS tape.
Oh boy. Trying to think of there's so many great Paul Heyman moments and promos. The stuff in the Bloodline though with Paul over the last couple years. He's been so hateable, and it's just hard to believe that we're in a time and a place where now Roman comes back. He's going to be a babyface, the biggest babyface Roman ever, the babyface that they've always wanted.
Oh my gosh, yes!
And he's going to have Paul Heyman by his side, and we're going to be like, yes, Paul Heyman, all right,
and again,
wise man.
Oh, the one other thing, a little bit off the rail, was what was Vince's thing that he always wanted was Roman to be this big, huge baby face and could never get there.
Yeah.
And now that Vince is gone, Roman's already the biggest baby face he's ever been.
Yeah.
Because this crowd is just begging for him to come back since the day he left.
I wanted to talk about Paul, and I think we could do a whole show about Paul some other time, but much like the storyline was last year, it took a little bit for me to warm up to this new Bloodline, but I'm really buying into Solo, as like this Fox bloodline leader, and there are so many different directions.
Sorry, he's a what?
Fox.
He's a fox.
Fox.
I know what you're saying.
F-A-U-X.
Oh, foe.
Foe.
Okay.
Well, no, you don't want to confuse you on it. That's why I said Fox.
Because he's on Fox. I got it.
Yeah. So, anyways, like, he's like a fake bloodline leader, right? He's like a fake ass oos, and
That's a good line too. By the way.
you can go so many different directions once Roman comes back with this bloodline. And you could do it for another couple years. It's crazy.
Yep.
We've been doing this since 2020 at this point. You know? How is this even possible for a story to be
half
this
a
good
decade
for so long? Like I would say the only misstep, and it's just being nitpicky, is having Jimmy and Jay turn on Roman only to have Jimmy then turn on Jay because they wanted to force that WrestleMania match. Other than that, like the timing of that, I think was off because.
Yeah, I get that, but also, if that was a mistake, it was one of those happy accidents, I believe, because Jimmy really found himself. He's not main event Jey Uso, he's not going to be there, but he found a character that really worked for him, being that sidekick and funny, and I'm the play caller while Roman's not here, but he's not really. I say he reminds me of Mike Epps in Friday After Next.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, I believe that ended up being best for the long run.
So, I think Roman is going to come back by SummerSlam, right?
I think it comes back at SummerSlam.
You think it's at SummerSlam?
It's got to be SummerSlam.
Because it looks like they might do Solo and Cody. That could change, but I think it would be Solo and Cody. I think it makes sense that we'll say more in the Money in the Bank predictions in the extended version, but as a little preview.
Look, everybody knows that Solo's not going to win the title.
No.
But that's not why you're going to buy the pay-per-view. You're going to buy the pay-per-view because you want to see Roman come back after and start to set shit straight, and then the following night on Raw and then on SmackDown. And I was talking to you earlier. We still got 2 years before Jacob turns against Solo or Solo turns against Jacob, and we get that great feud.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Jacob is such a crazy motherfucker. And how cool he looks with, like, this rogue bloodline. I think, like, first of all, we don't even know where The Rock stands in this whole thing. So at some point, like, did The Rock set this all up behind the scenes, or is The Rock going to be with OG bloodline? Jimmy and Jay are going to have to align at some point. Solo is going to be in the rogue bloodline. And so, like, let's just say, hypothetically, come War Games, we could do a War Games where we get Jimmy and Jay and Roman and Sami Zayn, the almost the whole OG bloodline versus Solo and Jacob and
the Tongans.
But down the line, at some point, Jacob definitely can turn on Solo, right? And there's rumors that they might sign another guy for this new bloodline, right? Whoever that may be.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah. So I could see Jacob being like, "Fuck Solo, he's soft. Get him the fuck out of here. He keeps losing, right? Like, whatever the situation is." And they turn on him, where Solo has to come crawling back to the OG bloodline. And, like, it's just, like, there's just so many things you could do. Obviously, you're going to do Roman and Solo. At some point, you might come back to Roman and Cody, which would be a fucking super match. Like, now that they're both babies. I mean, that's, like,
that would be Rock and Hogan.
Rock and Austin. You know
Rock
what I'm
and
saying?
Austin.
Yeah, it's like 2026, 2025, like Rock and Austin. Like, you got a Cody and Roman. There's so many different directions you can go with this.
And everybody knows how good that match was at 2 prior main event WrestleManias.
Yes. Yeah.
Man,
and the last one was just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like
like when he was dashing.
No.
You'll be smoking mirrors.
No, 39 was a better match, but like 40 was a more incredible story, right? And you knew what was going to happen. There was going to be a lot of interference and stuff. But like, point is, man, this bloodline story has been the best thing ever. And like, I know we praise it a lot on the show, but it's like, it's nice that it keeps us guessing. Yeah, and there's not like a clear-cut path with anything.
It's a lot like the AEW pay-per-view I watched the other night.
Oh, Forbidden Door?
Yeah.
with all that build for those matches and
For
everything.
Tachingi and Wagakashi.
What was his name?
Tachingi.
I thought
He
you said
wrestled.
Dick Cheney.
I remember Dick Togo.
Oh, yeah.
I love Dick.
Dick to go.
Yeah.
What else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Uncle Howdy last week. We talked a little bit about it in the extended version of the podcast. He had that sit-down interview with essentially himself, Bo Dallas. And, man, I went back and watched that over the past week because it was that good. I don't normally do that with a lot of things that happen on WWE. You pretty much called this whole Wyatt 6 angle before they even aired this VHS tape the prior week.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Are
I do
you
things like
too busy
that.
with Pokemon Go right now to do a
Hey,
podcast? Or
Your girlfriend is my number one friend on Pokemon right
Hey,
now.
you shut your dirty mouth, okay? I'm telling both of you to get off the goddamn phone and stop playing that bullshit that's like 4 years freaking
Past
old.
its prime.
Yeah, no one cares anymore.
Today was the 8-year anniversary.
It's been out for 8 years?
Yeah. How
That's
much have
crazy.
you walked?
I don't know.
None.
I have a step tracker on my phone. I don't
Yeah,
play
but you don't catch a
fucking
Pokemon with it.
I don't care. I don't care.
If anybody wants my Pokemon name, then you just
They
DM
don't.
me and
No.
I'll get you some good shinies.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I don't know. It's the way I would have booked the angle, so I just went with what I liked, and I saw it happen.
As we're recording, Raw is on in the background. We haven't seen what it is yet, but there was a second tape, and I'm guessing it's going to be more of these characters explained.
Yeah, I heard somebody say there was a rumor that they were each going to do a sit-down interview every week. So, like, maybe this one is Eric Rowan talking to himself as what's his character, the sledgehammer-wielding bunny or something?
Yes. What do you think Dexter Loomis is going to say?
I think he's going to just give a thumbs up.
Okay. So he's just going to go back to being a joke character?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know, I guess. And then is Indy filing for divorce? And if she is, do you think Johnny would put me over?
Probably not, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I always appreciated her mind.
Yeah.
And I love the vlog that Johnny puts out on a weekly.
I mean, I haven't watched one.
Well, you wouldn't probably because you
Yeah.
talk to him on a weekly.
Yeah.
Like in person and stuff. I have to keep up with my friend through his vlogs. Just like my kids. Now they're on social media.
Yeah.
I find out all their stuff through that. They don't tell me anything. It's just hopefully I'll catch something, some status.
Can I ask you, in these vlogs, are there any bits or anything, or are they just like, here I am in a car? Because that's what I kind of hate about vlogs. It's like
It's kind of like that, but
it's just people doing stuff, and like they're like when we film stuff for Patreon.
yeah.
I feel like we have to be funny. I mean, we're naturally
Yeah.
funny, but it's like can't just be like, okay, we went to this baseball game. Oh, there, yep, cool. All right, bye. Like I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I mean, that baseball game was in his last vlog.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was probably better than our video, honestly, because he could actually interact with celebrities and stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't see much of that.
Oh, he probably didn't want to be a mark.
Yeah. Well, he is.
But, anyways.
He
yeah.
just kept saying, shout out to my mom's new boyfriend.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and then he was like, he's a cool guy. And then,
It's an inside
cool
joke.
dude or something. And then,
Love his blue jeans.
and then he turns and he gives a shout out to his WWE legend wife.
And she was announced as a WWE legend at the
Yeah.
baseball game. Johnny was not. Just,
He was
here's the
a-
guy
he was
from
a
WWE.
wrestler.
Yeah, I think he's one of the wrestlers, Johnny Gargano. They're like, no.
And then they go, no, he's too small to be a wrestler. Okay, well, a guy that works production, WWE. He likes skipping.
Okay, he does like that, and like looking out in the crowd, like.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I just wish that there was less of a spooky element right now, because I do feel there's a way to do this Wyatt Six thing and incorporate the costumes and the weirdness without it being spooky. Like,
I don't want to go through a haunted house, right?
The only thing that in backstage segments, I think they can incorporate stuff like if they're gonna do the Firefly Funhouse or whatever the fuck, like you can make that make sense. But like when I think spooky and like making shit work or like weird or like costumes, in a realistic sense, I think about things that I used to be into, like Slipknot, right? Like they wore all the costumes on stage and like all the shit, and it's like scary.
One of those guys wear a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket on his head.
Did they? I don't think.
I'm pretty sure. The Slipknot.
Slipknot.
I'm pretty sure. So he wore a bucket of chicken on their head.
I mean, maybe as a joke, but what I'm just saying, there's a way to do these things without it. You don't need to do the light show necessarily and the smoke and like I don't know. Like I just don't like how Chad Gable is like utterly afraid.
Yeah.
For the spooky reasons, he should be afraid because like these are like maniacal.
Because they're ass whoopers. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so that's my only critique right now. But again, it's only week 2. We'll see how that video turns out, and maybe it'll get a little bit better from here.
Yeah.
When you initially heard the Bo Dallas interview, I feel like for me personally, it was kind of jarring to be like. The fact that they immediately go like, how did you feel when your brother died? Like that's kind of blunt. And then, they addressed a lot of the critics, I feel like, in that promo with like, do you feel like you're exploiting your brother's legacy or whatever they said? And that is a member of Slipknot with KFC.
Bucket on his head.
Wow.
His name was Buckethead.
Yeah, but I didn't know he had a KFC bucket of chicken on there. I don't think that was like a regular thing.
He had a guitar that was made to look like it too.
It might have been like a one-time. Wait a minute. Hold on. Go back. What is that thing that says fake?
Wrestling.
Okay. No. Well, I'm not looking at Slipknot Buckethead KFC fucking head right now. But what was I saying? I think when you incorporate elements of real life, obviously that makes promos better. I hope they can continue to do this going forward, and I do like when you can bring in an element that make people a little bit uncomfortable into a storyline and make it work. Tragedies are usually, there's a little bit of a sensitivity issue that you have to worry about in some instances, but I feel like as long as there's okays with the family and the friends or whatever, I don't see the problem. Like, you know what?
I have zero problem with it. And we don't know how his brother copes with it. Maybe that's the way he wants to cope with it.
Sure.
I mean, I would feel honored to be able to, I don't know, if I came out as some kind of friend of New Jack's or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't feel like I was exploiting as much as, like, let me get over this, that he was my friend and he died.
Yeah. Well, like, so, for example, like, this isn't a story, but in this case, like, when people talk about, anybody who probably ever said, I think Owen would have wanted the show to go on after he death. Like, no, I don't think he would have.
And actually. I don't know Owen like that, and I don't know who does.
Yeah, but, like, I feel like even people who did know him, I can't possibly think that guy was like, you know what? Yeah, just finish the show. Just work around the bloodstain. But I do feel like that in cases like when Eddie Guerrero passed away, incorporated into the Rey Mysterio storyline, and even as demented as it sounds, when they did the promo where Orton says Eddie's down there in hell, I feel like Eddie kind of would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think about Piper when Vince said that
Again,
Piper was in hell?
So here's the thing. I feel like Piper and Vince probably had a interesting relationship together, and I'd like to think that Piper would have laughed at that. Listen, I just recently told a joke to some fellow employees that didn't laugh at it. But and I'm sure my dad wouldn't laugh at it either, but it's my way of coping. I'm going to tell this joke to you. Are you ready?
Dude, hold on. Before you do this,
What?
I just had a conversation with my 2 new coworkers who are just amazed that all I do is joke about the deaths of friends and family.
Yeah.
They can't wrap their heads around it. The one especially, he just loses his mind. He's like, you can't joke about things like that.
Yes, you can.
And he goes, you have PTSD. Yeah, motherfucker, I know.
Yeah, listen, the only thing that has kept me sane my whole life when going through the worst things in my life is being able to find the humor in any super fucked up situation, and that's my way of dealing with things. So, that being said, Aaron, what is the difference between me and cancer?
I don't know what.
My dad didn't beat cancer. See, because he was very abusive to me as a child. So I told
I'm gonna steal that.
I told that to some coworkers recently,
Yeah.
and I told it separately to Hannah. And would you guess that they didn't laugh at all?
No, nobody was happy with that one except for me.
Yeah,
That's why we do the show.
yeah. So if anybody wants to use that one,
Oh, I'm already using it. I'm gonna text somebody right now.
yep. So I don't know. It just it was one of those things like when to compare myself to the Bo Dallas situation. First of all, I want to say that it was probably the best work he's ever did in a promo because it was real and he felt it. And when I was becoming Gregory Iron, I didn't think about it consciously that I was going to incorporate this. But when I started doing my first real important angle with Johnny Gargano and I cut these promos, there was a lot of, me recounting stories about people thinking that I couldn't do this and being bullied. And mostly back then, I would talk about the situations that I dealt with my mom, a drug-addicted mother, and the abusive childhood that I had with her, and her stealing shit from me. And it's like, that wasn't part of the plan to make that part of the character. But in building up what was the underdog in Gregory Iron, which you could see physically with the disability and the height and the size difference from other guys that are obviously much bigger and look like wrestlers, I had to build up that underdog. And how do I do that from a character standpoint? Well, these are all issues and things that I can relate to. These are all actual struggles that I've been through. And I think these are struggles that other people have been through, but they aren't as comfortable about talking about them. And I think when you find that that place of comfort and the ability to express yourself with things that most people would find to be a little touch and go, you can pull out real genuine emotion out of people because they can relate to it. And even if they can't relate to it, sometimes, like we've talked about it with Eddie Kingston on the show, Eddie has the ability to take you to places that you may have never gone, but you can still feel those experiences because Eddie is just an incredible promo. And sometimes, I don't know, again, we've said it before on the show before, but I think being vulnerable really helps this podcast, and I think being vulnerable really helped my personal character. And so it seems as though this Wyatt 6, they're going to be baby faces, and I think the real-life vulnerability of Bo Dallas is going to really help people connect with these characters. And some people like the spooky element. I'm not particularly crazy about it, but again, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride for sure.
Yeah.
If you keep doing shit like the Bo Dallas interview with Uncle Howdy, then you can count me in, and I can write off some of that spooky shit as like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, just kind of.
It's still better than, hey guys, whatever they do on that show.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Why don't we start wrapping this up here, and we can talk about that.
Oh, I don't wrap it up.
We will talk about our Money in the Bank preview. We'll talk about what we watched of AEW Forbidden Door, and whatever else weird shit we talk about.
How do you feel about that?
What's that?
Wrapping it up these days. Like, you're probably past the point of wanting kids, right?
You know what? I'm not opposed to a kid. I don't know if that's in
Yeah, I know. I saw the Alyssa Milano poster in your basement.
Okay, I don't mean it like that.
All right, we can get into it on the episode.
Yeah,
on
sure.
the pay
Sure,
episode. Yeah.
Sure.
I'd like to know, though, like, are you trying to protect yourself, or are you trying to do, because I got to talk to my boys right now. I've been talking to them about wrapping it up, and, like, you're too young to want to have a kid, and then I'm like, yeah, but I don't wrap it up, but I don't think I give a shit anymore. But then you got the whole STD thing. Like, would I give a shit if I got an STD?
Well, if you're like putting it in multiple things, then sure, you'd probably.
Oh, sometimes it's the vagina, but sometimes it's the ear. A lot of times it's the butthole.
I'm more concerned about multiple partners. If
Oh.
you're doing that.
Oh no, I haven't had a partner in years.
We're just gonna end the show. Go
For
over
good.
to Patreon for the extended version of the podcast and a buttload of bonus content, some audio, some video. You can get involved in the action, pick podcast subjects, get involved in the Zoom chat, get stuff in the mail. We just sent something out this week for $25 and up members, and you can even podcast in studio with us, which, we used to have Lindsay, who actually never podcasted in studio, but she was in that tier. Ryan Egan, we miss you, buddy. We hope to see you soon. I actually saw Ryan last week. He's going through some stuff right now, but he's in good spirits, and join the Patreon family, because that's what it is. It's not just you subscribing to a podcast. It's you becoming a part of a great community.
Hey, this girl Sarah at work, I just started working with, she goes, I checked out your podcast page the other day. She said there's a tier that's set to $69.
Yep.
You go, that's the kind of juvenile humor you get with us.
Yeah. That's what we're into. So, make sure you check out the Patreon. If not, just subscribe.
Hey,
Just
you know
5
why
stars.
she started listening?
Why?
The episode where you prank call your dad. Well, one of those episodes.
Oh.
I put it on because I was just longing to hear that. And
Yeah.
we were talking about Manscaped.
Okay.
And I was like, well, here's a commercial for it right here. And it was you and I don't remember which one, something about your balls.
Well, there's about 90 minutes worth of prank calls with my dad in the archives. Make sure you follow the podcast on social media at Iron on Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me on social media. I am Gregory Iron on X. Gregory_Iron on Instagram, Facebook.com/TheHandicappedHero. You can message me there for pro wrestling, motivational speaking, and pro wrestling seminars. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Cameo, where you can get a shout out from me of some sort. ProWrestlingTees.com/GregoryIron, where you can get my shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron on Wrestling shirts. And, I think that's about it. Aaron, what do you want to plug?
Hess Kicks on Instagram.
Sorry, what was that?
Hess Kicks, HESKICKS.
I don't know what that
He
is.
gives you good codes to get discounts on shoes.
Oh, okay.
So he's cool.
All right.
Yeah, that's who I'm shouting out today. And then if you want to find me, you just find me through Google.
Oh, Google.
You can Google me.
Boy. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other, and we're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff on the extended version. So join us over there if you will, and we'll leave you, if you're not going to join us there, with a kiss. Goodbye.